As Dawoodi said, the Kenya Open Initiative was launched in 2011. Out of what happened was a perfect storm, right? There was a constitution that had been, the revised constitution had been passed, and then suddenly we got several data sets, which included the census. So actually all of that is up on the website. So we got about 3 ministries that offered us large data sets, and we said, this is it, we must publish it. And so we rushed, and within a couple of weeks, with the support we had from the private sector and the task force that we had put together, we launched the Open Data Platform. And we were so excited. And we had the same expectations that you had, that we would have lots of application, the data would keep flowing, and it will just grow, and it's going to be wonderful, we'll have a fantastic impact on citizens on the ground. But the challenges we've had are the same challenges that you've described. Even for us within government, getting new data, apart from the first initial data sets that we got, has been extremely difficult. We had 3 strategies that we used to get data: coercion, sweet talking, begging. So these are the ones that we were using, and it has worked for a while. And then we had a new government come in. So as you know, at that time we had a champion in our cabinet secretary at the time, and he had his friends that he was working with and coercing, and they were giving us information. Then we got a whole new government, a whole new set of people. They hadn't heard about open data, and they had their own sets of priorities. So last year, I must say, it was quite a difficult year for us in the open data government, going back and trying to say, oh, we usually get data. And what you talked about, our coordinator, Lynette, who used to work on the open data platform, called it data hugging, yeah? It was the same thing. People would say, and there's wonderful data in government, and there's digitized data, and there's geomap data, wonderful data across government. But a lot of times I used to get people saying, no, citizens don't need that. What would they want this for, Or saying, yes, we'll give it to you, but then it takes a really long time. What you talked about, that power that people have when they own the data, it's very real. So even within government, for us to get from one government agency to give it to us, another government agency, has been very difficult. So let me talk to you about the 3 things that we're doing right now. And I know we've promised this, but we're at a very good point now to deliver on this. One is working on the policy. That was one of the things missing. It was fantastic to have the political goodwill up to the head of state at that time, but we didn't have a policy on how that the Article 35 is implemented across government. So we're working on a policy now. We've set up a committee within government, and we're also hiring a consultancy service to support us. The bid closed last week, in fact, so we'll be starting evaluation next week on Thursday. And so by the end of the month, we should have a consultancy firm on board. One of the challenges, of course, we have is resources. Having enough bodies within the ICT authority, KNBS, to do some of the work that we want to do. So we're also hiring a few people that we will be seconding to KNBS, so that to help, because they have a lot of data, they're also under-resourced. And remember, they also get data, at the end of the day, they also get data from somewhere else, If it's data on agriculture, they get it from the Ministry of Agriculture. So they're under-resourced, and their staff are very busy right now. And so having them say, oh, do this other thing for open data is very difficult. So what we've done, we're hiring 2 individuals that will then be just focused on open data within the KNBS, and 2 individuals at the ICT authority focused on open data, and then the consultancy. And the 3 things we'll be focusing on for now to the end of the year is, one is the policy. So we'll be drafting the policy, working within government with a technical committee in government, and then the agency will help us with the stakeholders. So we'll be coming back to you, we'll do stakeholder engagements and all of that, and hopefully by the end of the year have a policy that we can use to get this data from all the ministries, right? So we all know that in the Constitution it says that this data must be available to the citizen, but there isn't an actual policy to determine how that happens. The second thing we want to do is work on supply and demand. So there's a bit of a chicken and egg situation here. As I said, on one hand, some agencies might not know that people want the information that they collect, and on the other hand, so we have to show them the demand, but also supply, because the people want the data yesterday. So we'll be working on the demand and supply side as well. through the consultancy. Actually, we're going to borrow from the Kenya Fellows program that David talked about that worked really well. And through the consultancy, what we want to do is exactly what the Kenya Fellows program did for Code for Kenya, is embed data fellows within county governments. We're hoping to start with county governments and other agencies within government. So this will be a specific person that's only looking at surfacing data from either a county government or an agency. Right now, we're doing an e-governance, e-readiness survey within the county government. So we have a committee of all the ICT secretaries. They work very well together. They meet quarterly. And what they've done, they're currently doing a survey on e-readiness. Because actually, when we talk about the county, and Your Excellency talked about it, is we say, oh, let's get data from the county. But sometimes you might find there isn't even a computer at, say, the Office of Lands in a particular county. So we're collecting all that information. Is there a computer? Is there electricity? To see how ready they are, and then using that data, we'll know where we can place the fellows. So again, yes, this will not result in the constant real-time data that we're looking for, and we're all hoping for. We're also hoping for that, but at least it'll get us prepared to getting there. The example that we hope that how the Kenya Fellows program worked when they put these data fellows, for example, in the media houses, it really changed them. And I think right now they have permanent data desks, isn't it? So we're hoping that this example, when we put a few fellows, it'll have a catalyst effect and also demonstrate how important data is, not only for citizens, but for government as well. And the third thing that we'll be doing is the awareness building. So yes, it's true. It's a lot of people might not know that open data exists, but I completely agree with Daudi. When we first started this Kenya Open Data Initiative, the idea of how people will get their data isn't necessarily through the open.go.ke. Open.go.ke is one aspect of the Kenya Open Data Initiative, right? It's maybe the technology aspect, it's a repository. But the citizens should be able to get that information through media, academia, through TV, radio, whatever way is possible. In fact, the Department of Information and the Ministry at one point were working with us to develop posters, actually, and just leaflets, that they will be using in the county. So how the citizen gets that information doesn't have to be through, coming onto the opendata.go.ke portal, but the intermediaries are so important for us. So we want to work on awareness building and partnering with intermediaries, and again, we'll be doing this through the consultancy. Fortunately, within government, it's really slow and hard to start new programs, so this is why we're using a consultancy. We're hoping that will help things work much faster. So we expect to have the consultancy on board at the end of the month, and the 4 staff actually within May. So by the end of the year, what you can come back and ask us for is definitely the policy, and the results of how the data fellows, what happened with the data fellows, and through the consultancy we'll also do a status report on the status of data across government, right? And then hopefully once we have that report, I can tell you what our next strategies will be from there. I think, yeah, that's pretty much the update from us. Thank you.